What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Seven Figure Flipping Podcast. This is Bill Allen. Today is the second episode of what I'm talking about. This American dream is broken. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are screwing up our American dream. They're not teaching it right, including our school systems, including certain people that I'll just leave out of the conversation, brands, people like that they're helping the people who don't have a money mindset. They have a poverty type mindset. They're consumer spending, those kind of things. And today I'm talking to you. I'm talking to entrepreneurs. I'm talking to the people who have a decent handle on their money. I'm talking to people who know the next step for them. You're making money in your job. You're a W-2 employee, but real estate is in your blood. There's something calling you towards it, and you're interested in it. If you weren't, you wouldn't be listening to the show. You wouldn't be listening to me. But I've got a really great episode today. So the second episode, we're talking about debt today. We're talking about debt. We're talking about credit. We're talking about all the things that a lot of people say are bad, where I say, not always. And this is the second episode of This American Dream. If you missed the first episode, I want you to go back and listen to it. It was the one just before this. And I'm going to jump into it. We're going to talk about debt today. I can't wait. I love talking about money. It's so exciting. And debt is your friend if done right.
My name is Bill Allen, and I'm the leader of a group of elite house flippers and wholesalers called Seven Figure Flipping. We don't brag or show off our success, but instead let integrity and stewardship be our guide. We are dedicated to helping people unlock the freedom they desperately need. If you ask other real estate investors, they will say to keep your secrets quiet. But we believe in abundance, not scarcity, and that's why we are the elite. We are Seven Figure Flipping, and this podcast is our playbook.
All right, let's talk about debt. So there's a guy who has an office right down the road from me. His name's Dave Ramsey. You've probably heard of him. And he teaches about debt. He teaches that debt is bad. You need to have envelopes full of cash. You need to have pay for everything in cash and just save up money to let your business save up money, more money, and just buy everything with cash. I think that's bad advice for some and good advice for others. The people who I think it's bad advice for is probably you. If you're listening to this, the challenge with what Dave teaches and what some of the other people teach with debt being bad is they don't they don't show good debt versus bad debt. Like, good cash flowing debt is actually very valuable. It's called leverage. Leverage is one of the most beautiful things that we have in real estate that allows us to buy things that we might not be able to afford, but they have great intrinsic value to us from a cash flowing standpoint or a net worth growth standpoint, where we can maintain and hold on to these things. A lot of times the people who are talking about this had bankruptcies, foreclosures, those kind of things, had big issues where they were just over leveraged. They get over leveraged to the point where they can't control the lever and they go into a negative cash flow, can't sustain it with their income, and then they have to foreclose, go bankrupt, these kind of things. The founding fathers of this country created bankruptcy laws for us, which is one of the most incredible things that is debt forgiveness when something really, really bad happens. So I don't encourage any of you guys to go bankrupt or start getting over leveraged or anything like that. But I do encourage you to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. I think what Dave teaches and many others teach of all debt being bad is very, very horrible advice for people like you. Entrepreneurs, business owners, people who are growing and scaling, people who understand consumer debt versus good debt. And so bad debt, let me just define my thought on bad debt. Bad debt is all of your credit card bills that are wants, they're a car that you can't afford, a purse that you don't need, a huge house just to say that you have a huge house. These kind of things, I look at really just kind of bad debt, stuff that you are buying more as a consumer. So you're not buying them as an investment where you're putting money in and expecting it to maintain its value or be some sort of return. You're going to make a return on it. I look at if I use my credit card to buy marketing dollars for postcards, letters, social media ads, pay-per-click ads that are going to return me a multiple down the road, I look at that being really good. My entire life, I've used credit cards. I use a ton of different credit cards. I use point credit cards. I really love cashback credit cards, 2% cashback credit cards. And so what I do is I put everything that I spend on a credit card. I put it all on there, and then I pay it off every single month. I've only paid interest probably once or twice on a credit card, and it's because I actually mistakenly missed the payment cycle. It was supposed to be on auto pay, it didn't come out of the right account or something like that, and I missed it. So I've always just spent the money that I have. So I already have the money, it's in the bank, it's in the business, I spend the money ahead of time, I get my 2% cash back, which, by the way, is tax-free money. I get a check at the end of the year for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. That's basically income to me, but it's not reported. So these are really great things that are happening with my cash back, with my points. Like in a week, I'm flying over to South Africa to go on safari, and I'm using points from a credit card that I use in my business. Me and my wife are flying first class. We just went to the Maldives last year. We are going, it's just amazing. You can spend a bunch of money through your business, put it on credit cards, and then use those points to travel really places. Like I would not spend $30,000 for a flight for two airline tickets. I wouldn't spend $15,000 each for airline tickets, but on points, I have no problem spending that. You can also get cash back money. So these are really great things. I look at this as good debt because I have the ability to pay it off every single month. So that is, and I'm not buying consumer things on there. I'm not going and buying, diamond rings and diamond earrings and watches and things like that I don't already have the cash for, and then paying it down month by month at 18%, 22% interest, things like that. That's where consumers get eaten. Their lunch gets eaten on things like that. So that's bad debt. Now, good debt. Let's talk about good debt. Real estate, great debt. Like if I have like this building that I'm in right now, I'm doing this recording from my office here in Spring Hill. I bought a building about a year and a half ago, and I bought it for, I think it was just over $3 million. And I got, it was an owner occupied loan that I got from the bank. It's about 3.5% interest, insanely low interest rate, maybe 4% interest. And I put 300 down, 350, something like that, like 10% of the purchase price, which is insane to think about. So they took 90% of the property's been going up in value. So watch this. Let's say I buy this property for ease of math for $3 million. I put $300,000 down. And then we have the church that's renting back from us. So they're renting the building back from us. They pay rent every single month. We pay rent as a company to this building instead of paying it to a landlord. And then it's rising in value. So I don't assume that it's going to rise in value. I don't always say, oh, hey, this property is going to rise in value. But when I bought it, I looked at the rest of the area. There's all this new construction going on all over. There's a ton of growth here happening in the commercial and residential world. And there's going to be a huge need for something like this in the future. It's got great bones. It was fully renovated. It was a great building. So let's just say it goes from $3 million in value over the next 5 years to just easy math, $4 million, right? So let's say it goes from 3 million to 4 million. The church is paying rent back. We're paying rent back. It's paying down the principal of the debt. So let's just say in 5 years, we owe 2.5 million on it instead of, 2.7. And that's, let's say we owe 2. Let's say we paid down to owe 2. Right? Now we paid all that money in, right? So we get all that money back. Let's say we sell it for 4. We got to pay the bank off at 2 million. We sell it for 4, right? Now it's gone up $1 million. So I don't have to pay the bank back the extra $1 million that I just earned because of the value of this property. And so we paid down our debt $1 million. That's our money coming back. So, and now we have $1 million in growth. I become $1 million richer because I sold this building. Not the bank. The bank doesn't take a percentage of that. They don't get any of that. They just get their debt back. And when the building grows, I get all of that million. So I was able to leverage, able to put in $300,000 and get $1 million in return in a few years. So that's the cool thing about leverage. Now, if I had to wait and save up 3 million, I didn't have 3 million. I wouldn't be buying this building. I'd be buying a much smaller building. Let's say I had my $300,000 I had to pay cash, right? So let's say I have my $300,000 and it grows at the same amount. It grows at 25%. Right? So now I'm growing at $75,000. So now instead of being worth 300, it's worth 375. Okay. And let's say we paid it down the same amount. Maybe we're at 225 and it goes up to 375. Now I get my money back and I get 75,000. So I made $75,000 instead of $1 million. Same amount of money, different building, different leverage. Using leverage, I'm able to massively grow and scale my net worth. And this is the way that people make money. So most debt is bad, like debt being bad, is for W-2 income earners that are consumers. People that are just buying stuff all the time. They can't control their consumer spending. They don't have the right money mindset. So the easiest way to hit the masses is for people to say that debt is bad. Don't do it. Stay away from it. It's the devil. Do not have debt. Get your envelopes, put your cash in different envelopes, go up to the register and just pay the money. And I will say there's a difference between handing your credit card over and actually paying cash. I was paying cash last night for a bunch of stuff. I didn't have my credit card, left it in another pair of jeans. And so I was paying cash for like our dinner. Me and my son Lucas, we went to Waffle House. He wanted a waffle, so I paid cash for that. And then he wanted a cookie. We paid cash for that. And I had to go pick up James some ice cream. I paid cash for that. And I was like, dang, I just burned through $50 in an hour. Wow. And it doesn't feel like that when you put it on the plastic. When you put it on the credit card, it's just like, whatever, go, go, go. And the difference is whether you know, like you go out and you intentionally are spending things versus being a consumer, which is just buying stuff, saying yes to everything, just buying, buying, buying. Next thing you know, your credit card bill is so high that you can't pay it off. And so I got to get myself in a mindset and I'd be able to control my spending first. And I think that's what Dave does a very good job of and other people that train to this. However, it's not a blanket statement. You got to understand that there's a really, really good debt out there that can allow you to grow. And that's where real estate comes in. Real estate is some of the best debt. All of this stuff like cash flowing real estate, ideal investment, IDEAL. It's the ideal investment. I is for income. It can give you income. It can spit off income every month on a rental property, on a short-term rental, cash flowing asset like this, an office building or a commercial building, apartment building, right? D, depreciation. You actually get depreciation with it. E is equity. You're building up equity inside of this building. Just like I talked about over time, I'm building up equity, right? A is appreciation. Like I talked about this building that I'm in going from 3 million to 4 million. That's it. It's appreciating. I'm getting all that appreciation when I sell right in my pocket. And L is one of my favorites. It's exactly what we're talking about right now. Leverage. You are able to leverage the building. You're able to put debt on it, good debt on it, on a good cash flowing asset that is going to increase in value and it's going to cash flow for you so you can make those payments. It is an amazing, amazing opportunity. Massively powerful tool. Massively powerful tool. So buying a car, buying, I don't know, some watches, some people might be able to argue with me that watches hold their value or increase in value. But you really got to look at some things that is consumer spending. So clothes, cars, most cars. There's probably some older cars and things like that that will go up in value or hold their value. But most of the time it's that. Like I look at these kind of things as liabilities. So liabilities versus assets. I want to use really good debt on my assets. Okay. I want to use debt and leverage on my assets. And then I want to pay my liabilities off every single month, all the time I'm buying my liabilities. So that's the way that I use it. That's the way I think it should be taught. That's the way we're going to treat some credit, some debt, how the banks work, things like that. A bank just takes your money and then lends it back out at a multiple. So they take your money, they lend it back out like 10 times over. When you put $100,000 in there, they're lending out $1 million to somebody else. And that's how banks work. That's why banks have so much money. That's why they are people that own banks loaded. They're just leveraging your money to go out there and lend it to a bunch of other people, and they're making massive arbitrage on your cash. So there you go. American dream is not dead. You can change it. Don't get freaked out with debt. And hey, if you have a question on this, just respond to the email that I send out. Post on social media and tag me and ask me. Like if this is a thought-provoking process, if you've been like working with Dave for a long period of time and you're struggling on figuring out how to separate these two concepts of good debt and bad debt, like this is the most important thing for you to understand. And many of you that you think you have it right in your head, and I hope that you do, just understand that if you can pay your credit card off every single month, do it. Go do it. Like, do not hang around with this consumer debt, very high interest debt. Look at all your debt, and then you might want to consolidate some of it. You may figure out what you're paying off and what you're keeping, and pay off the really high interest stuff. Keep some of the lower interest stuff, and then just get all that debt paid off, and make sure that right now, my portfolio looks like all good debt. I've got all the consumer debt paid off. It gets paid off every single month. I'm not carrying around a bunch of consumer debt. I'm only have leveraged good debt on hard assets, real estate, things that are making me money. So I hope this helps you. I'm going to continue to do some more of these episodes. I've got some other concepts and mindset hacks that I think are really important. And one thing I want to introduce you to is I've been doing some financial training and coaching recently, and I just want to like talk about it and offer up that opportunity. It's very inexpensive, and I think it will change the game for you. The thing that I like about it is you can come into my world, you can understand how I operate and the things that I do, and then you can determine if the Runway or Altitude program or 8-Figure Entrepreneur is right step for you. So for right now, for $47 a month, we're doing this membership. It's called the Profit Pilots. We'll put a link in the description, but it's theprofitpilots.com. So HTTPS theprofitpilots.com. I encourage you to go check it out. $47 a month. Come join me. You can get coached directly by me, one-on-one. Really exciting. We do one-on-one calls. We do group calls. And once a week, we talk about money, the money mindset. I bet if you come in there, you'll see the difference that we can make inside your real estate business too in Runway, Altitude, and 8-Figure. So we'll put that in the show notes. I'm going to be talking more about money here on the show. This is an amazing series. I absolutely love this, and I'm going to keep doing it. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'll see you on the next show.